Let's talk adrenals. Our entire time together today, let's focus on adrenals and what you can do. The first mineral we have to talk about is magnesium. Magnesium is the chill pill mineral. We know the oral pills make a difference, but I want optimal magnesium levels. And because of that, I soak. And I don't use bath salts. I don't use magnesium flakes. I want optimized levels around the interstitial spaces. Living the good life naturally. It's from the Zextine Inside, the only certified European with the European Union stamp of approval. It's not road magnesium, it's not watered down, hasn't been processed to flakes. You and I talk about that master mineral a lot. Please don't forget, knowing your red magnesium, red blood cell number helps you to know if your body is optimizing. So, the rest of our time today, I want to focus on ways to optimize your magnesium that will help relax your adrenals. So many of us have a level of stress that is keeping us in fight or flight instead of being able to heal. I was listening to a podcast and a book I was reading this weekend really focused my thoughts on this. And I'd love to know your opinion on self-care. Two thoughts before we dive into community versus self care. There is nothing wrong with self care. That's my disclaimer. There is absolutely nothing wrong with self care. When we are taking care of ourselves and making sure that our cup is full, we have more to give. Someone who has adrenal stress that we continue to send to self-care, we might be missing the very thing that is needed. And this was Nikita. Oh, I can't remember her last name. Anyway, she is a scholar that focuses on women and health. And her thought was, when we tell a woman to go do self-care, are they really meeting the needs to help their body? And have we gotten so obsessed with self care that we're alienating ourselves from the most powerful tool that we have to be in a state of rest and renew? And remember, we need that rest and renew to make sure that our bodies are regulated. Women, especially, men also, but women especially. What do you do for community? What does your community look like? So, one of the things that I do for community is I enjoy reading to groups of school children. It's my passion of books, my passion of making a difference in the lives of children. And I'm always surrounded by other women who are passionate about children and reading also. And so that's a really good fit for me throughout the years of reading to groups of children. Sometimes that's been at a library, sometimes that's been in a private school or a charter school or the public school. And it's something I love doing, sharing my love of reading. That creates community. Now, that community lowers our cortisol. Why is it important to lower cortisol? When we lower cortisol, we hold on to the magnesium that we're soaking in. Community creates less stress in our body. And so, if it's a good week for you to think about this, I want you to think about where is my community? Where am I feeling connected to women? And I'm not saying drop your self-care. I will always be someone that enjoys the rituals that I have set up, and they're very calming to me. But don't forget that we need each other. We need to be connected to each other. Now, a podcast I was listening to that went right along with the self care focus and maybe some things that were missing in that self care focus. And the podcast was talking about 20-year-olds right now, those who were in that realm of 20, they haven't hit 30 yet. Somehow we missed teaching them that it's not just about them. And it's not every single 20-year-old, and I'm not bashing on 20-year-olds. I'm saying, where did we miss the boat? Because they are the most self-centered group that we've ever had. It's all about what works for them, what's best for them. They are also the deepest anxiety, highest anxiety of any generation that's ever walked the planet. And part of that goes hand in hand because always focused on self, you lose community. Do you need to focus on self? Absolutely. There needs to be a balance, though, between self and community. And so determining where is your community? Where are you finding that fulfillment of being connected with other women? Another thing that I do is I join organizations. Now, I'm new to the area here in Sugar House, and I am looking and finding those organizations where I can be around other women that I'm helping to make a difference in the world and lift people and find community that's a good fit for me. I have other areas in my life that absolutely support community. And so, if it's a good week for you to focus on that, I would love to hear your thoughts and comments below, sharing with me what do you do for community? Because it might be the very thing that I need to hear that will help me create community in a new home. I also want to talk hydration. Number one, to show you a new water bottle. Did I need a new water bottle? No, but I am switching all of my stainless steel water bottles out. I'm sharing them with other people because there are trace amounts of titanium in that stainless steel. And my original health crash was due to titanium put in my body. And I realized, I want that out. So I'm looking for ceramic water bottles that have ceramic on the inside and glass. Now, isn't that pretty? And I love the clear so I can see how much water I've gotten. I don't love that it's a straw because those lines that the straw increases. So I'll really need to make sure that I do some good muscle retention because I do like this water bottle. Water is critical for your adrenals. The next layer is absorbing the water. So today in this water, I just put a pinch of Baja Gold sea salt. It is lots of good minerals, and the salt, the sodium in the salt, helps us hold water in our cells because that's what determines that pump of water going into the cell and how much stays there. And then I also have a squeeze of lime, and it the salt will help me maintain my voltage. When you have strong voltage, your adrenals do better. Remember, voltage being, oh, here it is, voltage being soaking in magnesium, salt, and potassium, levels that are appropriate for you. I like to have my magnesium red blood cells tested so that I know, is the soaking that I do really penetrating the cells? Because if it's not, there are things that we can do to course correct that. I think the simplest one that I see Huge benefits, very little input, and I love that. Minimum input, maximum benefit is adding taurine, simple amino acid. Remember, too much taurine can take down adrenal function. So I always like starting low and slow, and the minimum dose being 500 milligrams and the maximum dose being 2000 milligrams. And taurine isn't something that you want to be on long term. It can help you hold magnesium in your cells at the cellular level. When your adrenals are hydrated, they work more efficiently. So we'll go back to our hydration visual. When adrenals have voltage, magnesium, potassium, salt, many people call that electrolytes. I like to call it voltage because it's the energy that pushes to the next cell at the ATP level. The more voltage that you have, the better that you feel. The more voltage, the calmer your adrenals are. This morning, when I woke up, I was tired. That doesn't happen to me very often. And that used to be my life, waking up just so tired. If you're waking up tired, I want to have you think about piling on your adrenals or respecting your adrenals. So when I woke up this morning, just dragging and really having to forcefully, okay, Kristen, come on, push through. If I would have kept the things that I wanted to accomplish today the same, I would have just piled on my adrenals and pushed them deeper into being tight and being stuck in fight or flight. And so when I felt that, right when I woke up, I immediately pulled out my journal and started writing the things I could take off of my list so that I'm realistic with my energy output with being tired when I woke up this morning. Because if I don't pay that respect level to those adrenals, I'll just pile on them and they'll get tighter and tighter and tighter. And if your adrenals aren't functioning, the first thing that happens is it takes down thyroid function because your thyroid starts to kick in and do what your adrenals need to be doing. And then your thyroid gets exhausted. And then you're taking both of them down and you're exhausted, not just in the morning, but in the afternoon, in the middle of the day. You're tired all of the time. And making sure that I'm focused and respecting those adrenals. If, I just think of it as as a little human, my adrenals. And as they're giving me feedback, I'm giving them feedback. So think of it, if you came to me and said, "Oh, Kristen, I am just exhausted." I wouldn't look at you and say, "Oh, can you please help me clean my house and help me get the rest of my plants planted today in my front beds?" I wouldn't ask you to do that. That would be so disrespectful to our friendship. I'm not, if you come to me and say, "I'm so tired," and then I just pile on more, you're going to walk away feeling more burdened. But we do that to ourselves. And so this morning, when I realized, ooh, my energy stores, I'm really needing to pay attention to what they're telling me, I took things off of my list today. And by doing that for a couple of days, asking, now the question I ask myself, what are my God-given rules? And what are the expectations that I put on myself or other people have? The God-given rules, I won't give up. The others, I look at and determine what can I let go today. And there were several things. Oh, I don't need to do that. Oh, don't need to do that. And in that way, I'm respecting my adrenals and what they communicated to me that I've been pushing it a little bit too hard. And my hydration wasn't spot on yesterday. And that lowered my energy. And so that's why this morning I made sure this is already my second glass. And this is 32 ounces, and this is my second one with some fresh lime and some good salt to make sure that I'm really getting the water into my cells. And so if you're tired, are you respecting that relationship? If I came to you and said, "Oh man, I'm just feeling a bit run down and I'm really tired," you wouldn't hand me a list of cleaning jobs to do at your house. I know you wouldn't. I know that. You would not. You'd probably say something like, "Oh, is there anything that I can do to help?" Or one thing I like to say is, "Would it be beneficial if I did this for you?" And then that person who's tired just has to say yes or no. So, for example, I like to take meals to people. And I'll say, instead of saying, "Oh, what can I do for you?" and making that person who's already tired come up with something to help me, I say, I come up with something that I know I can pull off. And I'll say, "Would it be helpful if I brought a meal to your family this evening?" And then if they say yes, what time works for you? 5:30, 6, 5? Some people eat earlier, some people eat later. And then I've found something that would help them. Or if they say no, then I know me adding that to my life isn't beneficial to them. And so it's something that I take off of my list. And so watching that relationship when your adrenals give you that feedback, slow down. We don't have enough energy to keep up. Are you paying attention to that? And are you taking action to support those adrenals? Let's talk about some foods that help support adrenals. Healthy fat. Now, I can do a lot of fat and I feel better. My brain functions better. You don't just start out loading up with fat because you have to know where your gallbladder function is at. Someone who doesn't have a gallbladder isn't going to be able to handle as much fat as someone with a gallbladder. Someone who has poor, low function, bile function in their body, because the bile is what breaks down the fat, they're not going to be able to just kick into loads of fat. And so, my journey on how much fat I take in and your journey with how much fat you take in are going to be very different. But adjusting those fat levels to, olive oil, which is a long chain fatty acid, versus coconut oil, which is a medium chain fatty acid, you know, the type of fat that you take in will also make a difference, but that helps support adrenals. Vitamin C supports adrenals. Our body doesn't produce vitamin C, and we need to bring vitamin C into our body because it helps support collagen. And our adrenals sit on this little shelf of collagen, and high cortisol breaks and wears that shelf down. Think of the cortisol like just breaking through that shelf, and then it's not as stable to hold your adrenals. And so getting good sources of vitamin C. Um, are critical in supporting adrenals. We've talked about desiccated liver before. I love the desiccated liver that I carry. It's grass fed, it's grass finished, it has iron, usable food iron that's usable for your body, and it has B vitamins. B vitamins are incredibly important when it comes to supporting our adrenals. And remember, we're boosting our thyroid function when we support adrenals. I see across the board when you change the focus to, "Oh, I've got to fix my thyroid," to "let me support my adrenals," the thyroid just naturally increases because adrenals go down before thyroid goes down. And so by supporting, oh, and remember, I'm not a doctor. I am not diagnosing. I'm not telling you what to do. You and I are just having a conversation about things that will help boost our health. And especially right now, I shared last week, my budget's feeling the pinch. And so I am making sure that the things that I do are optimizing my health. So, for example, I had someone come to me and say, Kristen, I have been watching my deodorant, my toothpaste, and cleaning up the chemicals that are in those. And that is incredible, amazing. But she was not functional throughout the day. Not, she was so exhausted. She did not feel well. To spend all of her time and focus on figuring out the best products to use is minimum input. And she was needing maximum benefits. And it's not that that's not important, it is. But if you are not able to get out of bed and you're so exhausted that you're just crashing throughout the day, that's not where I would start. I would start with voltage, magnesium, soaking in magnesium so that we're optimizing our magnesium levels. Because if we're tired, we know we don't have optimal magnesium levels. Magnesium is the mineral that jumpstarts our body and those healing processes. And then I would expand my magnesium to salt and potassium because that covers voltage. And when we get that energy at the ATP, the inside, the little inside machinery of our cells, that starts to make a difference in how the functions of our body get jump started. You know, think of my car. If I go out to start my car, if I don't have my battery charged, that car's not moving. Voltage charges your battery, magnesium, salt, potassium. And now sometimes we've been driving on such an empty battery, but pushing and pushing and pushing that when we soak in magnesium for that 20 minutes with a quarter cup, it actually magnifies how exhausted we are. And it's not a relaxing experience, it's I can't move my limbs experience. That means we need that potassium and salt. That potassium and salt has been trying to fulfill the role of magnesium, and we don't have enough to go around. And so adding some easily absorbed potassium helps to kick that energy in. Easily absorbed potassium for your adrenals are as follows: coconut water, easily absorbed by the body. A teaspoon of cream of tartar, half a teaspoon of cream of tartar mixed in water has 500 milligrams of potassium. Eating potassium rich foods. One of my goals every day is to eat an avocado. It's loaded with healthy fat that support my adrenals, and it is rich in potassium. Now, some people can only do a half of an avocado. I feel better doing a full avocado. And so finding those foods that you love that support your adrenals that you can take in daily is incredibly important to the health of your adrenals, your thyroid, and your hormones. Now, let's talk about another food, very specific food that will filter out the xenoestrogens in your body. It used to be xenoestrogens were only a problem toward the end of your life. Now, newborn babies have xenoestrogens. They're starting out behind versus building them up throughout your life and it causing a problem at the end. My favorite food, very inexpensive, very easy to find, and is loaded with soluble and insoluble fiber at a level like nothing else. Black beans. Black beans are my favorite for supporting adrenals, because if you are hormonally imbalanced, that's going to tighten up your adrenals. And so by eating black beans, you are helping your body to take out the broken down hormones and get them out of your body. Now, the way that you eat those black beans can make or break how your body handles them. And that is, have they been soaked? Have they been um, when they were cooked, was pressure used? And I love the jovial beans. They're in a glass container. Ultimate favorite. I can't always find those. I don't always have time to make them myself. And so, would I eat black beans from a can? Absolutely, I would. I would rinse them really, really well. But getting those black beans in fact, favorite recipe of mine is a cucumber chopped up, half a cup of black beans, some peppers. What else do I put in there? Drizzle of olive oil, some avocado seasoning. Right now, I'm loving lemon and basil, so I'd put a squeeze of lemon and some torn up basil leaves. My basil plant is starting to give off enough leaves that I can pull it, and it's crunchy. It's loaded with fiber. It's got good protein. It's so simple, and I can make that quickly and in 20 minutes have a lunch that I've prepared in my home, and I've prepared it and eaten it in under 20 minutes. It's so simple. And you can change the flavor up of that by different spices that you use. My husband loves cumin. I love cumin. He really loves cumin. And so if I were making that for him, I'd make the base and then take out mine and add basil and fresh lemon. And then on his, I'd add some cumin. And so you can change the flavor profile of that so simply. You can change the veg that you add in. Maybe you've got a little bit of broccoli. It goes very well in that little combination. And you're getting that healthy olive oil and meeting my goals on healthy fat and a quick, fast, delicious lunch that I don't get burned out on, because you can change the flavor profile so easily. And that is going to help support adrenals. When we support adrenals with B vitamins from our desiccated liver, with healthy fats from our good olive oil and avocados, we're supporting our thyroid. And adding that to your day, figuring out, how do I make that work? Maybe you meal prep that the night before. I like to just do it during my lunch break when I take a lunch break. Figuring out how to set that up so it works in your life is what will determine whether you stick with that or whether you try it once and then give it up. Making those small changes, respecting the feedback that our body's giving us, adding our magnesium, soaking for 20 minutes. Don't forget the powerful benefits of the magnesium morning trifecta, which is early morning sunshine, walking, and magnesium. We're reducing inflammation, which helps our adrenals work more efficiently. We're decreasing the stress in our body. So we're walking that cortisol through, and we're soaking in magnesium, which is the chill pill mineral, helping to regulate our nervous system. So we're supporting our thyroid through the doorway of our adrenals. And don't forget the power of community. What, where are you finding community? One of my goals is creating community on my lives. And my favorite, like, I just walk away from a live feeling so excited when I see people interacting with each other, because online communities are powerful also. In person is powerful. Where are you getting that community from? Where are you knowing that you're making a difference in the world and acknowledging that? Where are you serving? Where are you lifting? Some people don't, if you don't want to call it service, where are you lifting other women? Where are you making your difference in your corner of the world? Because connected women are healthy women. And self care is fabulous. I have rituals and traditions that I do to take care of my body. Sometimes stepping out of self care and stepping into community is what we need to help regulate our nervous system, because I am convinced, and I have watched for the last 25 years, women who feel good, who wake up in the morning with energy, being able to tap into their dreams and make a difference in the world. And women have a gift that when you feel good, you immediately start making a difference in your corner of the world. And that has a ripple effect to more than just the people that you see. And we can't forget how powerful we are. Are you comfortable standing in that power? Can you embrace that? Sometimes, if we're overwhelmed, if we're feeling run down, that can add to the overwhelm. But remember this, overwhelm is not an emotion, it's a lack of action. If you can set up forward movement when overwhelm kicks in and say to yourself, I'm overwhelmed. Where can I take action on anything? It doesn't even have to be the thing you're overwhelmed about, but where can I get up, move my body, and take forward action? It will train your body to walk away from the overwhelm and not have it stop you and slow down your process of creating optimal health. And it starts with magnesium. Magnesium does not heal everything in your body. Magnesium does start the healing process to everything in your body. Every disease, everything we're struggling with, you can trace back to the first thing that went off was your magnesium levels went down. By soaking in optimal magnesium from the Zextine Inside C that has not been diluted, has not been made in a lab, is not processed from flakes, because I could sell you flakes from Zextine Inside and mix it with water and say, oh, here's magnesium from the greatest source. It's not optimized magnesium. It's been processed. And in the process of being processed, it's lost its ability to move your magnesium red blood cell numbers. And that's my only goal with magnesium, to achieve and maintain magnesium cell saturation of 6.3 or above. I'd love to know where you're finding community. Leave your thoughts in the comments and share with me. And if you add some black beans, let me know how it goes. Now, remember, healthy women have strong filters. And if you are someone with small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, SIBO, adding black beans is not a good fit for you. So any information that you've heard anywhere, filter through what you know about your body. And remember, I'm not a doctor, not diagnosing, not prescribing, just wanting to create community of women who want to feel good in the morning and live their life in a way that they go to bed at night so satisfied with what they created during the day. I'd love for you to join me on the journey that starts with soaking in magnesium. Have the best day.